They say nothing is stronger than the bond between mother and daughter. And me and my mom, we got that on lock. This is me and my mama, unplugged.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 5th episode of Me and My Mama Unplugged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That grace.
That grace.
That grace.
Shonda.
Stupid.
Cheese and rice. Grits. Hey, we're excited to be with y'all. We're here in the incredible, beautiful city of Tampa, Florida. We've been doing some ministry work. And today we want to have a really interesting conversation that I find that is, very unique, but it's also very beneficial. We want to be able to help. We want to talk about what it is to be a woman in business and a woman in ministry and how those two things merge together and what that looks like. Because I'll tell you this, Proverbs 4:23 hits totally different. Yeah. When you're in settings and you're the only believer, and sometimes in a lot of instances we may be the only female, the only women. You know what I mean? So, Mom.
That's right. Oftentimes in these environments, there's a lot of females that attend them, but not a lot of females on the business side of it. And so for instance, when you did the panel, you were the only female on the panel, which is a tremendous blessing, but again, the only female on the panel. And so we have to just be mindful of not just the business aspect of it, but the spiritual aspect of it. Are we guarding our hearts in those situations? And I can honestly say that you did. You stayed true to who you are. You guarded your heart, not just on the business side, but you were mindful of how you treated people. I saw you praying for at least 2 or 3 different women in the setting. And so you didn't set your spiritual the spiritual part of who you are to the side. You actually embraced that and included it. And how many people came up to you and thanked you for that?
Yeah. And I think it's just very important that we always remember that we're believers first in every situation, in every setting. We don't switch up just because we go into a place and we're the only Christian representatives. That means that God has tasked us with the opportunity to share his light, his love, and his truth even stronger. And I always find that more people are way more interested in God. They just haven't really seen it in a way that maybe we are able to present it. So that includes you, like maybe you're able to present it differently than what they've heard. Because
that young lady asked you, she said that she wanted God in her life or more of God in her life. How could she do that?
And how to be a Christian artist too. You know what I mean? Like she's even considering like having a relationship with the Lord and then switching over to gospel music. And if that's something that the Lord is calling her to, like, who am I to not show her the way, to not show her the direction? And I think a lot of times we, as artists and as business people, we can become so focused on ourselves and what we want to do or what we have to do. And, people are networking and, what am I going to get out of the situation? Right. But one thing I love about us and how the Lord has crafted us is we don't really look at it that way. We look at it more along the lines of, okay, Lord, you're sending us to these places. You're sending us to these settings and to these cities. Who are we here to reach? Exactly. That's really it.
Yeah, what is our purpose? Like the people that you're going to put in front of us.
Yeah, because Jesus is the plug.
Hey, everyone. We'll get back to the show in just a moment. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that support our ministry. It's believers like you that partner with us in ministry, helping us to take the gospel of Jesus Christ to the nations. To become a patron and partner with us in ministry, simply click the link in the description of this video. Now let's get back to the show.
Oftentimes I think about, for instance, when the last day of the festival, right? You had more staying the time there, and boy, everybody was excited. And you know what? It's okay to be excited. It's okay to have fun. But even in those settings, even in that situation, you still have to be spiritually alert. You still have to guard your heart because you don't know what you may be giving your heart access to.
Like I'm guarding it
right now. Like how she ran right off camera. Did you see that?
I'm back. Maybe we'll keep it in.
Because she got stuck by a bee on the stage the other day. So now every time she sees any bug, she take off.
Everything is different now. Everything is different. Once you understand the bee thing, I said, who wants to get a tattoo? Like for what? What do I need that for? Like what do we need that for? But yeah, I think that even being spiritually aware in the circumstances of fun. But I think that it's the setting. Like we have to remember that we're on mission. And so even though you're there to have fun, you're still amongst a whole group of non-believers. You're amongst thousands. We were amongst thousands of non-believers. And we know that the enemy, he ain't God, he ain't omniscient. He's a little slick something that would, look for any opportunity to try to cause any type of negative anything.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? So us being, I'm gonna tell you what, like right now, tell you this right here. I'm tell you this right. I'm gonna tell you this right here. See, you gotta be spiritually alert, ready to give a defense for the gospel. Jump up, get thrown down. You feel me?
That part.
But you have to be alert because you don't know who has what spirit. And you don't know who's invited what spirit.
Absolutely.
You don't know, like, and so like as believers, we have to, realize that in a lot of cases we may be the target for the enemy, like that. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Like you just want to keep coming.
You know what this calls to mind? In that sea of thousands of people attending that, as the festival was winding down, right? A young lady came up to me and she said, "Hey, the founder of the event needs to get to a meeting. Would you mind watching his things?"
That's crazy.
Now wait a minute. She doesn't know my name. She doesn't know me from Adam, but she felt confident enough based on how we walked throughout that festival for 3 or 4 days to ask me to watch all his personal belongings.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy that in addition to what you're saying, at that same time that they asked you, and me and my mom are in 2 different locations of the park at this time, but when they were asking you to do that, when she was asking you to watch out for the founders, stuff.
Right.
At that same exact time, I was being introduced to the founders.
See?
And then walking back with the founder, and I had no clue, and you had no, get away from my mama. Look, we had no clue. Like, I had no clue that thing was trying to jump up on you, but we had no clue that is what was going on. You know what I mean? So it's always important that you carry yourself, especially as a woman, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you're going into a situation where, unfortunately, women aren't always respected in the same light as men. You know what I mean?
In the same way, correct.
And that's why, and this is just for free, like as a woman, as a female, like don't go into any business setting being like overly emotional, overly personable. Like don't do none of that type of stuff. Be about the business, be kind and all of that stuff, but understand that you're there on a mission. And to be present yourself in a light and a light that's worthy of respect, because you're going up against men, not going up against, but you're in the same environment as men who are just about the business.
Right.
And they're looking for business opportunities and they're saying things one way. And we're talking about being seen in a certain light. We're talking about evening the playing field all the time. But a lot of times, like, females will come into a situation, a festival or whatever, and be like overly emotional.
Right.
And it's like, sis, you're not here for feelings. You're here for work. You're here for mission. And you have to understand that balance, because like I said, you're evening the playing field, not just for yourself, but for every other female
and for
that's
going
to
come behind
you. Know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we should continue this conversation in another location, and we'll see y'all there. God bless.
Wait.
Oh, it's on you, Ma. Come on, let's go. Look at you leaving your phone.